Hello and welcome to the Energy Perspective on Vanguard Life. I am Elizabeth Daniel. Today we'll be looking at the poor state of Nigeria's oil and gas industry. As we all know, the global and Nigeria's oil industry is passing through a very difficult phase right now. And speaking on the issues militating against the oil and gas industry, here with me today is Mr. Udeme Akpan, sorry about that. Mr. Udeme Akpan, the energy editor of Vanguard. Mr. Akpan, you're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So how would you, what's the situation of the oil and gas like?
Like you rightly said, the industry globally and in Nigeria is passing through a very challenging phase. In fact, the worst in recent history. If you look at the upstream, I'm referring to the exploration and production segment.
Okay.
The oil companies are not doing much as they used to have. Available data, even based on the data of the Organization of All Exporting Countries, OPEC,
Yeah.
they released a report last month stating clearly that Nigeria deployed only 6 rigs. Only 6 rigs. You know the implication of that? It means
6 rig in the
in the whole industry.
Okay.
And rig count is a
Okay.
major index of measuring the scope of your operations.
Okay.
So in June we deployed 9 rigs.
Okay.
In July we deployed only 6. That shows you that we are not doing much in terms of all exploration and production as we used to do. So that's the sad situation in the upstream. In the midstream, the NNPC already said that all the refineries are down, meaning that we are importing all the products from the foreign markets.
Okay,
If
when you say all the refineries are down, what could be responsible for that? Why is it down?
The refineries are down because we have not been able to sustain maintenance of the plants involved. The current management of NNPC
Okay.
has mapped out adequate plans for maintenance. But even before the present administration came into office,
Yeah.
things have not been going well with the refineries. You know, remember that these refineries were constructed many years ago. Some of them are
And they're
as
not
old
being
as-
maintained.
Yes.
Is that why?
Some some of them have been there for well over 30, 40, 50 years.
Okay.
So over time, they need to be properly maintained. Otherwise, they will not be as efficient as any modern plant. And it takes a lot of money to do it.
Okay. So, looking at the situation in the oil industry right now, when would you say that when the federal government of Nigeria were planning the 2020 budget for the oil and gas industry, would you say they foresaw the situation that the oil and gas industry is in right now?
It's not likely that they saw all this thing coming. It's not likely because it's not something you can predict with 100% accuracy. Budgets or any other planning is always based on projections. The country projected that based on existing realities as at last year, that it will be possible for it to generate as much as $28 a barrel of crude produced in the country. They had also projected that Nigeria should be able to produce 1.7 million barrels of oil per day. That was the basis. And it looks very good from the beginning. But as we started the year, you find out that some of the variables that form the basis of such calculations were no more obtainable. For instance, the emergence of COVID-19 in China has spread to many economies, including Nigeria, put paid to some of those things because the lockdown greatly reduced the use of petroleum products and by extension the demand for crude oil, thereby making, it's a function of demand and supply. So the demand for oil
reduced.
And all products dropped drastically. So the price too had to follow. And we found ourselves at a point we were only earning about $12 from export of burning light, which is a premium crude oil grade. So presently we are doing $40 per barrel. And for Nigerians, you think that this is a big money, it may not be, because the cost of producing oil is already at estimated at $30 per barrel. So we shouldn't say we are doing so well at this time.
Okay, so what are the sad realities of the
generally there are many sad realities in the industry. Like I said, in the upstream, you are deploying 6 rigs, showing that you are not doing much, you are not investing much to explore and produce oil. Then another sad reality is that even from the little you are producing, some people are cutting the pipelines and taking the oil to illegal refineries. If you look at the available data, you may have to weep for the country. For instance, the latest report from Shell shows that there were as many as 13 cases of oil spills in July this year. 13 cases recorded by only one company. So it is very huge if you look at what the other companies are experiencing. And it amounts to about 300 to 400,000 barrels per day being stolen. So that's another sad reality. If you come to the midstream, like we said, if your refineries are all down and you have to import everything from the foreign market, you can see the way you stress the forest. Over demand, you need more dollars to be able to import, and it's quite huge, putting pressure on the government. And even at the downstream, where you sell the products at the local filling stations, you can see the inconsistency. You can see the way the pressure on the poor Nigerians who will have to buy fuel, maybe 50 naira per liter, and it's even very expensive.
Because I think, was it about 2 weeks ago, or was it last month, that the government said they were going to increase the pump price?
Yes.
And so are you saying it's because of this situation?
Generally, the government may not have much money to be able to subsidize fuel. And they should not be blamed. But what Nigerians need is stability. Stability, if you say that you are not going to subsidize, let it be total. And let those who can afford pay. But there are so many irregularities. Because if you go to riverine areas, for instance, you realize that you cannot even say this is the price of fuel. Because there is no access to filling stations. People can travel from the marine environments, outskirts of Bayelsa, and they come and buy fuel, maybe from Port Harcourt. When they take the fuel to where the remote areas, you can't control the price, and they sell it at any price they want to sell.
Yes, because in other parts of the country, in other parts of Nigeria, I usually hear people complaining that the prices of fuel in those areas are higher than what we pay here in Nigeria, what is obtained here in Lagos State. I don't know if that is true, because you hear someone, we are buying fuel here in Lagos for, I think, 140 something naira per liter, but in other parts of the country, you hear them saying they buy for 250, 300 per liter. Is that, I don't know how true that is.
It depends on location. Depends on location, because when the products come in from the export foreign market,
Okay.
if they come into Papa, for instance, you can see the pressure on Papa roads. All the tankers are lining up just to buy fuel in Lagos and take to different parts of the country. So the cost of transporting the products from Lagos, for instance, let's say they're taking the products to Kano, Kaduna, and maybe the eastern south side and the rest of the country. So there's no way operators will not hike the prices to accommodate their cost. And you cannot really go to tell somebody this is a control price, except you are willing to subsidize. Maybe the Petroleum Collection Fund, a government agency in charge, this is where they come in. But if the fund is still subsidizing or paying the cost which transporters, operators incur in the process, then you cannot really say that you have stopped fuel subsidy.
Okay. Can you paint the picture in the upstream sector?
Like I said, the picture is very sad and may not easily go away. Why? Because it's beyond what the operators they can control. As at today, the operators don't earn much from oil. In fact, some of them have been forced or compelled to cut their budgets. Not only other budgets, I'm talking about core operations. They cut the budget of their core projects that they should be going into exploration, production. These are capital projects. They cut the cost of those things. They cut the budget as much as maybe 40 to 50%. That is very sad. Some of them have cut the allowances, even salaries of their staff. Some of them are managing to survive. It's even worse for all servicing companies, those who work for the majors. Because if the international oil companies are not doing much, and you have an oil servicing company, that means you are going to be idle. And you can't keep a huge workforce. For how long can you keep paying their salaries? So you too may have to lay off, or you cut to your own size. I think the challenge everyone is facing at this time, to find a way to just survive. Hold on there, sustain your operations, but cut costs as much as possible.
Okay. What about the midstream and downstream sector?
When you talk about the midstream, you are referring to the refining and distribution of petroleum products. So the challenge there is that the nation needs a lot of money to maintain its refineries. The 4 refineries located in Port Harcourt, we have 2 refineries in Port Harcourt. The old and the new refineries. We have one in Warri, we have one in Kaduna. Currently, they are not really functioning as they should be. In fact, shut down, as we said, confirmed by the NNPC. They are doing much to ensure these things are resolved. So that is a major challenge at this time.
Okay, can you comment on issues such as pipeline vandalism and oil theft?
Pipeline vandalism
and oil
theft is a major issue, and we would like to discourage our fellow Nigerians to this because we should be patriotic. Honestly, it's very sad because I have the opportunity of going around almost all producing communities in the country, and it's very sad. There are some communities you go to, you find out that they see this as part of their national cake. They realize that if they cannot go to Osorok and ask for their own part of the cake, then they can start from the one within their reach. So it is very sad that when they cut a pipeline, steal the oil, they take it to their illegal outlets to refine, and they take it to the streets to hawk. And you find out that many engines might have been knocked in the process, because you cannot really say that there's a certified agency that will test their product to confirm that it is right and suitable for obligation.
Okay, what do you feel is the reason for this vandalism an oil theft? Why would any normal human being want to vandalize a pipeline when they know that it can explode at any time?
I think it may not be poverty as such. We can agree as Nigerians that people are poor and they need to survive. But it goes beyond it because there are options. There are really other things anybody can do. As in Nigerians, there are many things you can do to earn a living. But if you take to pipeline vandalism and all that, it may be other reasons, especially maybe greed. You may feel that because of greed, you can easily do this one. It doesn't take much effort to do it. But I think as patriotic Nigerians, we should learn to see how we can avoid those temptations. Because at the end of the day, we are discussing destroying the same economy that was also built.
Okay, so how have they affected the nation's economy?
A lot. It should be expected that when you cut the pipeline and you take the crude to illegal plants, you are directly destroying the economy that all of us are expected to build as Nigerians. It is anti-government. It's anti-Nigerians. It's not a Nigerian way of life for you to believe that you should cut the pipeline and take the money. And it's not really right at all. It's directly hurting the economy because the government, like we said here, needs all kinds of support. In fact, with the kind of potentials that we have, we shouldn't be going car begging other countries, including China, to give up load. We have the more resources. So it's not that we are not patriotic enough to ensure that we channel all this money to where they are supposed to be. And even when we have the money, some Nigerians are not patriotic enough. There are cases of corruption in all areas. It's really huge.
Okay, what should the government do at this time?
I believe the government should do a lot. They have a lot of things to do. One is that they should ensure that they diversify the economy in practice. There are other areas, other sectors we can look at to earn money, foreign exchange. We can look into the area of gas. We have huge reserves. Instead of flaring, we should be able to harness a lot of resources from gas. We can look at solid minerals. We can look at even agriculture and other sectors that can generate a lot of money for the government.
Okay. What have OPEC been doing to achieve the oil market industry? Stability, the oil market stability.
I understand what you mean. OPEC is an organization with many members and is committed to ensuring market stability in the global oil.
Okay, sorry. I want to take a comment from somebody here. One Ani Ekanem. He's saying that Mr. President is the Minister of Petroleum Resources. So what I think invariably what he's trying to say is that since Mr. President is the Minister of Petroleum and Resources, that he should be able to salvage the situation. I don't know.
Yes, Ani is correct. Currently, to the general public, we can say we don't have any Minister for Petroleum Resources, but it is Mr. President that is the Minister.
Okay.
Chief Silva, Tebri Silva, is the Minister of State, and he reports to Mr. President. So the President is also the Minister of Petroleum Resources.
Okay, so talking about what OPEC has been doing on the oil market industry, what have they been doing to achieve?
In fact, if it is not because of several interventions of OPEC, maybe the global industry could have collapsed. OPEC has set up so many engagements on very regular basis, involving not only all producing countries like Nigeria, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and all the big guys. they have also engaged with non-member states, non-producing states, and even consumers, like United States. All of them, they have been brought to the table severally. So without these interventions, it could have been, things could have been gone from bad to worse. In fact, they have also published many reports, including their monthly oil reports, that provides insight into developments as well as options and steps that should be taken by all and sundry to achieving market stability.
Okay. What should we expect in the midterm and long term?
I don't think any magic can happen in the short term. But as far as the medium term is concerned, we should be able to see things turning around gradually, but it will be very gradual. What I'm saying is that the lockdown had culminated in the collapse of the industry.
Okay.
We won't come out of it in one day.
Okay.
It will take time, and that cannot happen in a short term.
Okay.
With the ease in the lockdown, many economies begin to go back to work, including China. China is very strategic. Many people have a different opinion about China. China will continue to be very strategic. For instance, China accounts for about 30% of global oil demand growth. You can see the growth of this economy. So if China alone returns to work, you can see the economy begin to breathe.
Okay.
Because you begin to see increased demand for oil. And that cut across many other countries, including India, which is also very huge in terms of oil demand. So it will be a gradual easing of the process. We should expect much to happen in the long term. When the oil-producing countries, including Nigeria, begin to produce and earn much money, then they can begin to invest. And then the multiplier effects will begin to go around. But like I said, this thing will take time. It will not be in a short
Okay, what advice do you have for the federal government and operators?
Well, my advice is that the government need to be serious. Many people have different opinions about the government. Some will say they are doing very well. Some will say they are not doing very well. It depends on where you stand to watch the government. But I believe that the government should sit up, especially when it comes to issues that concern the oil industry, because this is the industry that generates all the money and deserves much of the attention. So the government should sit up. For instance, government can say, in as much as we work towards diversifying the economy, what can we do at this point about the oil and gas industry itself? They can't say, okay, the petrol industry bill, a major legislation, has been in drawing board for so long. We need to make sure we conclude work on this. It is very, very sad that after over 15 years or even 20 years, as the case may be, Nigeria is still discussing about the petroleum industry bill, and that the new copy will now be leaving the ministry to the presidency, and then from the presidency will go to the National Assembly in the coming weeks. It is very sad because we have done this severally in so many years, and we were not able to get past this stage. And this is hindering investment, because foreign investors want to see its legislation in place. They want to be sure that their investment will be safe. Even financiers that want to fund those projects also want to see something they can hold on to, that Nigeria is serious. So if you don't see all these things in place, foreigners will take their money elsewhere. Many people are going to Ghana as small as they may be low, the economy may low. It is stable. Many investors are going to Angola. They are going to other places to invest because things are stable. Their investments are assured. So Nigeria needs to sit up and make sure that we create a much needed environment for investors to come and put their money, even in marginal fields that are trying to bid. We were not able to see many people to buy the marginal fields. Why? Because investors, whether local or foreign, they know what they want. They know what they want to see in place before they can stake their resources. They cannot walk into any bank and ask for loan. The financier will say, what about this, what about that? And if they are not sure, they hold their money until things are stable.
Okay, Mr. Akpan, thanks for coming on the show. We hope to have you here again. And if you're just joining us, this is Energy Perspective. You can like our page on all the social media that are showing on your screen, or visit our website www.vanguardnews.com, ngr.com, sorry. And that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.